joined now by Yan Liang in Portland, Oregon. She's a professor of economics at Willamette University. Always great to see you.
Good to talk to you, Elain.
Well, let's start with women's rights at the two sessions. Does it go far enough? Are the conversations and the changes, are they going far enough in addressing some of the more serious issues, especially personal safety when it comes to women?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we need to first acknowledge that, China has been improving, gender equality. 41 million women have been lifted out of poverty since 2012. Women entrepreneurs are thriving. About 26% of businesses are owned by women. And when the gender wage gap has narrowed to 22%, which is in line with the global average. But that said, there is still significant amount of discrimination, sexual harassment, and many sort of violences and crimes against women, especially in the recent days and weeks. There have been a lot of discussions about human trafficking and crimes against women and abuses. So I think in the two sessions, we have been hearing about many different initiatives. The standing committee of the NPC last year in December have passed an amendment to improve the protection of women's rights and interests. So this would be voted on, and this is the first time in 30 years that the law defines what discrimination is about, right? So there are a lot of, I think, improvements on that amendment, and that would be voted on later. And the judicial authorities, as the introduction talked about, they also vowed to increase the penalty, right, against human trafficking and the selling and purchasing of women and so on. So I think those are all good points. And many of the lawmakers and also the political advisors have also made various suggestions, like setting up a national-wide sort of DNA database to identify abducted women and children. So I think a lot of things are going on, and we look forward to hearing about these new laws and proposals.
And all this attention is really sending a message. Talk to us about some of the challenges for Chinese women in the workplace, especially for those who are striving to climb in their careers. They want to be the next leaders, the next CEOs of their companies.
Right. So I think there are many challenges, coming out from the socialist legacy. Women hold half of the sky. But all that means is that women not only have to take care of their families, but also perform well in the workplace. And in the workplace, there's still a lot of explicit and implicit discriminations, like prioritize, male candidates than female candidates, and also have very specific restrictions about marriages or child rearing when it comes to, female employees. And so all these needs to be changed and will be changed in this new amendment, as I mentioned earlier. I think going forward, it does require the whole cultural and value changes. One thing I think that is a bit concerning is that there are some arguments about, dropping the marriage ages to 18 in this, CPPCC consultation meetings. And there's also this argument about, women should have more children. I think that goes against the intention of the policies. The idea is that, yes, we want to relax the restrictions on childbearing on families. So, families should be allowed to have more children if they desire to do so. But I don't think it should pressure and impose on women that they need to somehow now give more births. I think that is their choice, balancing their life and work and many other pursuits of their lives.
Yeah, it's a tough choice for any woman. I want to talk about the younger generation, this growing Generation Z, making up 15% of the population in China. They are the recent graduates of college, or they're going into college. What are their goals and aspirations, and what's different about their outlook and what they want out of life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you just shared a very beautiful story about this woman who has multiple jobs, and these jobs also speak to her passions and interests. I think that's what we see in the so-called Generation Z, who are now aged between 15 and 24. So they're ambitious, they're risk-taking, they're entrepreneurial. They have many different skills and talents, and they also, pursue and value more flexibility than stability like their older generations. And I think all these women, right, they're very ambitious. They have many different passions and goals in their lives. And also, they're very immersed in technology and in the virtual world. So I think those are very interesting characteristics of this generation.
All right. Always great to see you, Professor Yan Liang. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.